Once upon a time, there was a group of children who lived in a small village. They were all best friends, and they loved to play together. One day, they were playing in the forest when they came across a strange old house. The house was abandoned, and it looked like it had been empty for many years. The children were curious, so they decided to explore the house. As they explored the house, they began to feel a strange sense of dread. The house was dark and gloomy, and it seemed to be filled with the sound of whispers. The children began to feel scared, but they were also curious. They wanted to know what was inside the house. They eventually found their way to the basement of the house. The basement was dark and damp, and it was filled with cobwebs. The children were about to turn back when they heard a noise. They turned around and saw a figure standing in the shadow. The figure was a young girl. She was wearing a black dress, and her hair was long and black. Her eyes were dark and empty, and she had a look of sadness on her face. The children were terrified, but they couldn't look away. The girl slowly walked towards the children. As she got closer, they could see that she was crying. She reached out her hand to them, and they took it. The girl led the children out of the house and into the forest. She took them to a clearing, and they sat down on the ground. The girl told the children her story. She told them that she had been a young girl who lived in the village many years ago. She was happy and loved, but one day she got sick and died. She was buried in the forest, but her spirit could not rest. She was haunted by the memory of her death, and she was afraid to go to the afterlife. The children listened to the girl's story, and they felt sorry for her. They told her that she did not have to be afraid, and that they would help her to find peace. The children took the girl's hand, and they led her back to the village. They took her to the church, and they prayed for her. The girl's spirit was finally at peace, and she was able to move on to the afterlife. The children were happy that they had been able to help the girl. They knew that they would never forget her, and they would always cherish the memory of her story. The children's story is a reminder that even in the darkest of places, there is always hope. With courage and compassion, we can overcome any obstacle, even death.